It's Friday, 3rd of May 2013. In this week's show we will take a look into the UK's financial situation.
We'll also be looking into ways in which we can all try and save a bit of money.
But before that, our main story, Chancellor of Exchequer George Osborne said that last week the UK had avoided a triple-dip recession, that the country's GDP had grown by 0.3%.
This came as a relief to the government, who have been under attack for their economic policies since coming to power in 2010. For more information, we sent our reporter to the business department.
Britain has narrowly avoided a triple-dip recession. The economy is anything but healthy. New figures show that although the economy has staggered back into growth, it is still virtually flat and more imbalance than
ever. Last week, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne, announced that the UK had avoided a triple-dip recession with GDP growth of 0.3%. This was seen as an encouraging sign for the UK, but what is a recession and why should we care? A recession is a slowdown in economic activity. This means that things such as employment, investment, household incomes and business profits fall. The exact definition of a recession varies, but most people agree that a recession is when there is 2 consecutive quarters of a drop in GDP. GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product, which means the value of all the goods and services produced in a country. When the fall in GDP is particularly severe, a recession is referred to as an economic depression. You may have heard of the Great Depression of the 1930s, which led to poverty, famine, and ultimately war. Recessions can be triggered by events such as a financial crisis and are closely linked to psychological factors. In other words, how confident people feel in the economy. If people feel worried about the economy, they buy less things and businesses contract, lowering their output and their workforce. This in turn means fewer taxes, which means less investment by the government in public services, which makes people even more unhappy. A downward spiral happens that is hard to escape from. In recent times there have been 4 major recessions in the UK. In the mid-1970s, GDP shrank by 3.9%. Unemployment and inflation rose, and in this period, miners' strikes led to widespread blackouts and households only being allowed to use electricity for 3 days a week. In the early 1980s, another recession wiped just under 6% from the GDP and was accompanied by a 124% increase in unemployment, a 35% drop in earnings, and a 20% loss of the manufacturing sector. Britain became a net importer of goods for the first time in its history. Mass unemployment and social discontent led to rioting in towns and cities including London, Liverpool and Leeds. By the mid-1980s, Britain was growing strongly, unemployment was coming down and inflation was below 2.5%. But in October 1987, Black Monday as it was called, a stock market crash in the USA led to financial problems in the UK and unemployment rose by 55%. Which leads us to the 2008 financial crisis. You may be surprised to know that you have lived through the deepest recession since the Second World War, caused by a debt crisis that started in the USA and spread across the whole world, causing economic turmoil just about everywhere. Banks and businesses have collapsed and many experts feel that we are a long way from recovery. But it's not all doom and gloom. During recessions, people tend to become more resourceful and creative industries boom as people look for ways to cheer themselves up, while creative artists find ways to express the feelings of the times.
It's coming like a ghost town. This town is coming like a ghost town.
With the whole country experiencing the recession, it would be nice to know what we can do about it in our everyday lives.
It's funny you should say that, Mada, because we went down to the maths department to ask them what we should know if we want to look after our money.
Hello and welcome to today's Dyca maths instalment of what is a percentage. Now, percentages are all around us, especially in the high street, where if you buy an item you have to pay extra VAT on it, but sometimes when we're lucky we can get a sales discount, so we get a reduction in percentage. And also, for those of you who wanted to go to university, you can get a student card which will give you a discount in lots of different places. So let's look at an example. So if I go into a shop today, I can no longer get my student discount, but those people who are students, if they went into a shop and paid £70 for a pair of jeans, they could get a student discount of 10% off of that shop. So we're going to look at how we can actually calculate that in our heads without going up to a member of staff in the shop and asking them and embarrassing ourselves. So all we have to remember to work out 10%, which can divide our amount by 10. So I'm going to start off and do my £70, which is my cost, and I'm going to divide it by 10. So 70 divided by 10 is obviously just 7. So I know that 10% is equal to £7. So now if I want to work out my new cost, all I have to do is subtract my percentage. So my 10% is £7, so if I take that away from the starting point of £70, that'll give me my new price. So all I'm going to do now, £70, take away £7, it's going to leave us with a bargain price, or at least a cheaper price, of £63. VAT has increased recently from 17.5% to 20%, but the good news for you is that's going to make the calculation a lot easier. Okay, so if we look at this, a second-hand iPad is advertised as being £240 plus VAT. So how much are you actually going to pay for it? Well, we know that VAT is now 20%. So that's the tax that the government is getting from us, from that item. So if I work out 10% of it again, just like we did before, so I'm going to do 10%. Do you remember how to find 10%? Divide by 10. So if we divide that by 10, we're going to do £240 divided by 10. Those of you who think you do that by knocking off a zero, you're wrong. The decimal point is actually moving. So I'm going to move it back one place. So my answer for 10% is £24. Okay? Simply, 20% is just going to be double 10%, because if I do 10% plus 10%, that's going to give you 20%. So I know 10% is £24, so £24 plus £24 gives me my VAT, which is what the government's getting, of £48. But because the government's getting that, the person who's selling the iPad doesn't want to pay that, so they put that price on top of it. So the price I'm actually paying is going to be my £240 plus my £48, giving me a price of £288.
How do you use percentages outside of the classroom?
I use percentages outside the classroom when I go shopping. For example, if there's a 10% sale off at a shop, I use my percentage skills to work out the actual price without wasting the shop attendant's time.
I use percentages outside of the classroom. For example, when I go shopping with my friends and there are sales on clothing items, I use the skills that were taught to me by Mr. Cotton.
Some fantastic advice there from the maths department. I'll try and make sure I get the best deal I can next time I make a purchase.
Let's see how other staff and students around the academy make use of maths in their daily lives.
I use maths every day, putting picture frames up to measure if they're central in the wall.
Setting up payment schemes for the students so they can pay on increments each month.
Well, we're selling buns to make money, profit for maths.
To work out all the figures based on all the different prices for the different printers around the school.
Maths and statistics is still very important in biology, and how we analyse and get meaning from the complicated biological systems.
When I go shopping with my mum, when she always buys things, I always help her calculate the bill.
Well, in art, we use maths in symmetry when we're doing portraits, so to get both sides of the face right, use it for that. In food, for example, we use weights and measures to measure out how much ingredients you need, and in resistant materials in woodwork and metalwork. We use it for getting the right measurements and also for assessing how much materials we're going to need for a particular job.
When students taking part in football or rugby, how long a team has had possession for a certain player.
To work out the percentage that my students needed to get each grade for their GCSE paper.
In Microsoft Excel, working out key formulas such as averages, min, mode, and try and identify attendance figures in the sixth form.
We use it for budgeting mainly because we have to make sure that we buy the books that are at the right price.
For example, put information in a table. So when we're gathering evidence to answer paragraphs, we might ask people to put the point in a column, evidence in a column, and explanation in a column. That helps us build up our analytical skill.
Fascinating stuff. Now looking away from the maths news for the moment, the 1st of May this year marked the pagan festival of Bellatine.
Bellatine is a Celtic word which translates to fires of Bel, or Belanos, was the Celtic sun god.
The fire festival celebrates the coming of summer and the fertile year. Fire is believed to be a purifying force for the mind, body and spirit. We wish our pagan friends a lovely day.
And speaking of lovely days, let's find out what the weather is going to be this week.
It's going to be cloudy with some sunny spells and an average temperature of 17 degrees. Now let's ask Callum for the thought of the week.
Take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. Swami Vivekananda.
A lovely quote from the Hindu monk. Being focused is critical to being successful. In our fast-paced lives, it's easy to lose focus on what we want and we can often try to chase multiple dreams.
I hope we can learn from Swami's teachings and become successful.
Well, that is it from everyone here at Dyca TV.
We hope you have a great weekend and remember, think it, dream it, live it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.